Good morning and good afternoon, depending on wherever you at the time of this recording. This is episode 117 of the Restricted Zone podcast, and I'm with a great crew today. Kyrie, introduce yourself to the people out there, man.
What's going on, fellas? What's going on, viewers? Glad to be back with y'all. Let's give the fans another good episode.
Absolutely, man. I can't wait. Lodge, introduce yourself to the people out there, man.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Raj, we back. Trying to have a fun little pod.
We
So
are.
let's get into it, my boys. Let's get into it.
I know you can't wait to start talking, man. I can't wait too, man. We
Yeah,
fucking
I don't got to talk about my squad, so it's just kind of like it's kind of comforting, bro. So
and you
Yo,
guys
it
we
are
really
really
is. It really
don't got
is
really
because
nothing to
we
talk.
I
We
don't got
don't
like
really
no
got
type
nothing
of
to get
investment
emotional
into
about.
it.
and
I don't
you,
got
Exactly.
no emotions involved in this one today. So
hey, you guys are trying to trade away Emmanuel quickly. I don't approve of it at all, not one bit. But
it depends on who
Like,
it's for, but another conversation for another time.
Absolutely. So with that, we focusing on the younger generation of the NBA world. Recently, the 2023 NBA draft happened just a little bit last week. If you haven't checked out the previous episode, me and Kyrie did the Western Conference. We did our analysis. We graded each team in their picks, and we're going to do the same this time for the Eastern Conference. And with that being said, we'll be going in division by division. So with that, we started off with the Boston Celtics. Man, the Celtics drafted Jordan Walsh from Arkansas University. Now, Kyrie, what was your thoughts on this when they made this draft selection? And how do you think he fits for the Boston Celtics? And what grade do you give it to him?
one, the Celtics were confusing me a little bit throughout the night because they traded down a couple times and I couldn't really get a gauge on what they were looking for. At first, I
Mm,
thought they laid a James Naji over from Spain, which I thought was a good fit because they needed another big man, in my opinion. But when they went to Jordan Walsh, another defensive-minded prospect, even though he's a wing, and didn't put up a lot of points or didn't really have like a great like stat line, I would guess. I would
right,
say at Arkansas this season, he's
right,
still a good pick here at number what is it, 36, I think. 38. I'm sorry, at number
38.
38. Yeah, he's still a good pick here because I think the Boston one. I think they're going to lose Grant Williams this off season. And
mm,
with that, he's a guy. Jordan Walsh is a guy that doesn't need the ball in his hands at all, and he's not really a creator for himself. He's more of a like a pick and roller. He's more of a cutter, a backdoor cutter, and he's a defensive player and he's an energizer. So I think he's just going to fit in perfectly with those guys. Especially with them picking up Kristaps Porzingis, the scoring load is going to be all on them guys, him, Tatum, and Brown. And I think he just comes in there. He might get some reps in with the G League. He might not start off playing for at first might get not start get off getting a lot of minutes. But I think he's gonna fit in well long term. Like I said, a defensive minded prospect that brings a lot of energy. So for where they got him at, I gotta give him a B plus.
a B plus. I was thinking B between B plus lies. Just what's your thoughts on Jordan Walsh going to the Celtics, and what grade do you give him? How does he fit for the Boston Celtics in your opinion?
I think it's a perfect fit, like reset, considering Grant Williams is mainly more than likely going to depart, which I think is for the best, considering the way he kind of, I guess, kind of plateaued and with his peak and what he could do for them. I feel like Jordan Walsh can kind of bring a little bit more, I guess, more athleticism on the defensive side of the ball, as well as on the offense, as far as running the floor on fast breaks. Um, it's just, I love it. I honestly, just like reset, I hope for some odd reason, I do have faith that he'll get some type of minutes throughout the season. Maybe not in the playoffs, but we seen Christian Brown in the playoffs this past final. So you never know. But I honestly do feel like he's definitely a long term pick, a guy kind of like a glue guy for their like next generation, kind of like a Marcus Smart replacement too in a way, because he's
Mm.
literally like bred on straight defense and energy. Maybe not as vocal yet, but I feel like eventually when the time comes, he'll be that type of guy for them.
Man, I think the Celtics made a great choice with picking him. I didn't think he was going to be declaring this year. I thought I kind of had him as a 2 year guy, Kyrie. I'm not going to lie. I had him coming out sophomore year, making that
Not to
jump
cut
to
you off,
sophomore year.
Colin. Not to cut you off, Colin, but honestly, his game kind of isn't really time dependent, really.
Right.
Because it's not
That's
like his
a fact.
second year. It's not like honestly, honestly, from what I see from his game, I wouldn't depend on his second year and get him getting a jump shot. I'd rather him just come into the league and get that work done because
Mm.
honestly, he'll get his most of his excitement and his confidence on the defensive side. Him getting balls down low, pushing the floor down low, getting it done, passing off to a guy in the corner or get hitting the three after getting a steal, something like that. So I feel like his game was timeless. But keep going, Colin. My bad.
No, that's
And
fair. That's
and
fair.
and just to add on to that, like, and if he were to go back another season at Arkansas, and I got to look at the recruiting class. I don't know who they're getting in and how big they are, but even if he would have improved his draft stock, which I think he could have, he probably wouldn't have ended up in a situation like Boston, a team that just was in the Eastern Conference Finals this past season, just in the finals last year. And they're very good at developing talent and helping guys play to their strengths. We're just mentioning with Grant Williams, who kind of came on into like in the playoffs or like later in the regular season a few seasons back, and they just played to his strengths, and they had him just do things that they know he could do, and didn't ask too much of him. And I can see them doing the same thing with him.
And that's absolutely fair. That's a great analysis from both of you guys. So I think the Celtics made a solid pick. Kyrie gave him a B plus. Lodge gave him a B plus as well. Got you.
Yes,
So
sir.
that's B plus consensus. So, like I said, for the viewers, we're starting off with the Atlantic. We're going by division for the Eastern Conference. So, right now in the Atlantic Division, we just did the Celtics. The Sixers obviously gave away, forsake their draft picks for tampering, right? So, painful memories in terms of that. Yeah, Lodge, don't say nothing. The Knicks also didn't have any draft picks. So we going straight to the Brooklyn Nets, and they made a lot of interesting draft selections. The most notable ones so far between Noah Clowney, Derek Whitehead, and Jalen Wilson. Man, Derek Whitehead and Jalen Wilson. I think Brooklyn Nets got something going here with these draft picks. They drafted Derek Whitehead with the 22nd pick from Duke University, Noah Clowney from Alabama with the 21st pick, and Jalen Wilson from Kansas, the previous national championship. So Kyrie, give me your thoughts on the Brooklyn Nets and drafting these three guys, and how do you think they each fit for the Brooklyn Nets moving forward?
I'll start off by saying with their 21st pick in Noah Clowney, who I really like. Actually, I kind of had them going with Chris Murray there, and I didn't really understand why at first. I thought he was the safer pick. And I could just really see him being a great spot up shooter and wing defender off the bench there, starting off, and kind of a mold like a McHale and Cam Johnson were. So I was kind of confused there, but with Noah Clowney, it gives them another presence down low, which they kind of needed. Who's not really big, but kind of like Nick Claxton, who they have down at center. He's very wiry,
That's true.
athletic, and can go up and grab rebounds, and he's a good lob threat down there too, which I really like. And he has a budding outside perimeter jump shot, nice lefty stroke that doesn't seem to need that like doesn't seem to need any like ironing out or anything or fixing or anything like that. He just needs to get some reps in and get some reps in from the NBA 3 point line. And I definitely feel like that could be something he hangs his head on sometime down the line. But as a high energy big off the bench, I really like that pick for them. Um, with Derek Whitehead, man, I was a huge fan of his coming out of high school, especially being from the Jersey area. Um, he's just been maligned by injuries. It's just been unfortunate because it really hindered his game. And his lone season at Duke, we weren't really to see much of what he was back when he was in college. I mean, in
Mm-hmm.
high school. Sorry. So the only thing that we really got to see from him this past season was that he was a good outside jump shooter. Shot about 40% from three, and I think the huge swing factor for him is if this is the case, I definitely could see him be one of the biggest steals of the draft and a key part of the Brooklyn Nets rebuild is if his ball handling ability, his athleticism, which kind of contributes both into his shot creation, gets back to that level we seen at what it was at high school, and of course his durability because that's what held him back the most. So if those things can go right, and the Brooklyn Nets got to bring him up at a nice pace, at a decent pace, and not really run him into the ground and allow his game to develop. I can see him being a very nice player there. Kind of like a third, maybe like a third scoring option sometime down the line, or just
Mm-hmm.
a relied upon outside shooter. But
That's,
lastly,
that's
lastly with Jalen Wilson, another guy I really like. I think he spent like 3 or 4 years at Kansas. Just another deadly outside shooter. He dropped and he's been low for a while because he's really not a great finisher at the rim. And he's a
mm,
sometimes he defender. Sometimes he shows up and sometimes he's non-existent out there. But you know from day one he's got a jump shot that's going to translate to the NBA. So I really like the fact that Brooklyn kind of wanted to see them go with another point guard. Maybe they see Derek Whitehead's kind of having those kind of having those traits, or they see something they can develop off of with that. But I kind of want to see them go with another point guard. But I like the
Mm.
collection of wing and forward depth that they got. These are young guys that can go out and run and have a lot of different skill sets in between them. So I got to give the pick about a B, just because I really wanted to see them go with another guard.
All right, Kyrie, giving the Brooklyn Nets a B. Lies, talk to me. What's your thoughts on the Brooklyn Nets draft selections?
So
What the grades you giving them?
to start off with my grade, I'm gonna just give them a C plus, and I'm being generous.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Okay.
so honestly, the Whitehead pick, I do like, and I love the energy towards it and taking the risk on him because I see the talent and what he can be.
Right.
But just like Reese said, there's literally just the durability that's at stake right now. But what Ree pointed out is he kind of could see them drafting another guard, and what I'm looking at now, further down, a few more picks. Would you guys have rather them pick Nick Smith Jr. at that pick instead of Tariq Whitehead?
I would have liked Nick Smith here
I
personally.
mean, they were both injury prone. They didn't get to show off a lot. Well, I mean, Derek played
That's
more games
true.
than Nick Smith, but Nick Smith was hurt for a lot of games. I think that's why he fell as low as he did too, because he
Okay.
definitely
Yeah,
got the
I
talent.
think I think I
And
think
I
Nick Smith had
and
that
to be
had
honest,
that
I didn't want
up
to,
and
and I
down
didn't
ability to work out with them.
right,
Okay.
and I didn't bring that up necessarily agreeing to the point that you should have because I honestly, out of the three picks, the Derrick Whitehead pick is my second favorite. Jalen Wilson, honestly, is like you said, another a knockdown shooter they need because they lost one in Joe Harris, who vanished off the face of the earth. But
That's a
with the pick, I get somewhat, but I still don't understand considering that Chris Murray was sitting right there. I would have
Mm,
thoroughly preferred Chris Murray getting picked here. Considering literally the two guys he's literally kind of built like and play like Michael Bridges and Cam Johnson are two perfect people to kind of learn under away from your brother. So it's just like I don't know. I honestly would have
not to cut
preferred.
you off, Vlad. I think they valued the athleticism of Clowney's over Murray's. I think
mm.
that's what it came down to.
But don't
That's
you think that
possible.
the Reek Whitehead though, honestly? But I guess at a different position. But
Yeah.
I don't. But I just feel like Chris Murray is honestly like I wouldn't even say safer pick. It's like the more. I think you can honestly. I think you still get more out of him
You you
than
you
Noah
know
Conley.
you know what you're getting in
I
Chris
believe
Murray.
that.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly.
So yeah, that's the main reason why I gave them a C plus. If they would have drafted Noah Conley, I'd have probably damn near gave them an A minus. But like I said, the risk on Dariq Whitehead, I like. He's close to home. I hope he flourishes. I know a lot of people out here really want him to flourish. So I'm glad. I'm hoping to see him succeed. And Jalen Wilson, he should just be their knockdown shooter for a while.
Okay. All right. So Lodge said you're feeling pretty generous, giving them a C plus. Now I do want to ask you this. So if you're feeling generous, what was your honest grade reaction towards
Probably like
it?
a solid C. A solid C.
Okay. I was thinking he was going to go like a D plus, maybe. That's what I was thinking because he's feeling really awfully generous. But hey, okay.
No, I don't want to go. I don't want to
And
go too crazy.
I can see that too. And another thing I wanted to point out is I'm not really sold, or I don't really know about the developmental skills of Jacques Vaughn as a head coach, because we've seen him in Orlando
Mm,
for a while, and
And,
they weren't
and
really that
drafting
good.
a
And didn't didn't really see anybody like flourish or expand their game there under him. And we seen earlier this season with Cam Thomas, who had like three back to back 40-point games. And then like a week later, he's riding the bench. And that's not to say Cam Thomas' game is without flaws. Of course, he got to improve in the defensive end, and as a passer, he's got to pass
let's
to his
go
teammates a
defense.
lot more. But he, I feel like he just snatched that confidence and that rhythm away from him doing that. And
Mm,
I feel like there was a better way to go about trying to get him to play in a better way while being who he is as a dominant scorer. So
that's
that's
a
another
fair
thing
point.
I'm willing to I'm eager to see with the Brooklyn Nets is uh his development when it comes to these young players.
Definitely, coaching does make the greatest change in any prospect. The same as it doesn't matter how high the draft pick or where he gets, or the pick is depends on what organization you land into and how they factor in your development. So, great point, Kyrie. Great point, Lodge. We're gonna swing into the next team in the Atlantic Division, the Toronto Raptors, and they drafted one of my favorite guards from this draft, Grady Dick from Kansas University. And man, I think I like this pick a lot. I'm gonna give it A-, me personally. And I think they drafted him because you got to think Gary Trent Jr., OG Anunoby, some of these guys are going into their final years of their contract. So I feel like this is probably the chance for him to come in, probably contribute and show what he could do as a prospect. What's your thoughts on it, Lodge? Give me your thoughts on Grady Dick getting drafted by Kansas.
Honestly,
Drafted by Toronto.
consider one. I might even give it an A, considering. Well, I'm going to give it an A- like you, but depending on how he ends this season, it may become an A or A+, considering how low he went. I was expecting him to get drafted a little higher, especially when Orlando Magic drafted Jet Howard 2 picks up, which I we'll talk about that later. But
Yeah, we gotta talk about that.
But I'm gonna give it an A-. I like his size, shooting ability. I think he's an underrated defender. I'm not saying he's a out there willing defender, but I feel like there's some potential there, especially in Toronto, who's a defensive type team. He's surrounded by guys that are gritty, and so I feel like he'll get a little rub off on him. I see some type of Tyler Hero ish with him, but maybe a little bit more controlled. I don't see him as like that much. I don't know the right for where with it, but I see him a little bit more methodical with his game than a little bit more than Tyler Hill. Tyler Hill is very, I feel like
Free
he's very
flow.
free, very free, and kind of just just free. So
Understood.
I'm excited for it. Nobody knows if Fred's going to come back, but if he doesn't, I'm pretty sure he'll have a good green light enough to have some fun this year. I'm hoping he'll succeed. I really leaning towards an A+, but I have to see how this season ends for him.
Okay. Kyrie, give me your thoughts on Grady Dick, one of the best guards in this draft.
Look, man, I'm a huge fan of Grady myself. I really enjoyed watching him at Kansas this season. I have to give this a solid A. A few episodes back, I actually had him going here in our mock draft at 13. This is exactly where I had him going. I think he's the perfect fit here just because Toronto doesn't really have a lot of consistent outside shooting, and that's exactly what Grady Dick brings. And because he's such a dangerous outside shooter, especially in spot up situations, he's great. He's not great, but he's very good at attacking closeouts and getting to the rim. Where he's a better finisher than a lot of people give him credit for, and he's a lot craftier down there as well. And he's a better athlete than what he was gets showcased too. So I really like the pick. I think he's a solid player with a great foundation. That's going to. I think he's going to be one of the most productive rookies starting off. From the beginning of October. Like I think he's going to be like one of those like remember like Benedict Mathurin last season when he
Yeah.
just like popped off in the beginning of the season. It was like, yo, this dude can score. He's not going to get the same amount of he's not going to get the same amount of touches. He's not going to be looked at to score as much. But I think he's going to get a lot of opportunities to shoot and a lot of looks in transition. And I think he could be a very efficient 3-point shooter and with like a high score starting off his. I really love the pick. I got to go with the A here for Toronto. I think this is their only pick too. So
Their only pick
definitely
with the 13th pick, and they made the right draft selection. Man, I'm excited to see him play. And like you said, Lodge, definitely got to wait and see what he does toward the season. I think he could be a first team all rookie if everything pans that well. Probably in the rookie of the year contention too. Also, I might as well add he had the best draft suit. If you guys think
I wouldn't say
otherwise.
the best. I wouldn't say the
Yeah.
best, but he
he
tweaked a
had the
little bit.
flashiest for sure. He had the
He
flashiest.
tweaked a little bit. He tweaked a little bit. He tweaked. Tweaked.
All
In my
right.
opinion, Keontae George had the best shoe. I ain't gonna hold y'all.
Okay, you know what? That is debatable. That is debatable. He definitely had one of the best ones. With that being said, we're going to the next division, and we're going straight in. We're gonna start with the Milwaukee Bucks, and man, their draft selection was. I love Andre Jackson Jr. I love it, but Chris Livingston, just really.
That's a Kentucky boy though, bro. What
But
happened?
you know what's crazy? I was seeing some reports that his agent, Clutch Sports, they were telling
Mm-hmm.
teams he could have got drafted a lot higher. They were telling teams not to draft him, and
Really?
I don't get the benefit of him being the last pick in the draft. I mean, hey, like I said earlier, it's not about the pick; it's about where you get drafted to. And I think the Milwaukee Bucks is a great organization for a prospect. For him to slowly grind up and turn himself into a great player. But I'm just real conflicted on this. What's your thoughts on this, Kyrie? Just give me your thoughts on
Um,
Andre Jackson Jr. and Chris Livingston.
I kind of starting off with Chris Livingston, another player I really liked coming out of Oak Hill when he was in high school.
Mm.
I really like this fit for Milwaukee, especially it being the last pick of the draft itself. I've seen a lot of post college workouts with Chris Livingston, and he really sold me with his athleticism, and with those rumors you're kind of talking about, Colin. It doesn't really surprise me if agents were telling teams not to draft him or to let him fall because in my opinion, the type of player he is, where he doesn't really have a set game or a set type of skill set yet. He doesn't
Mm-hmm.
really know what he is, whether he's a three, whether he's a four, whether
Right.
you don't really know yet.
No.
Landing with a team like Milwaukee or a team that's like later in the second round that's going to be competitive, most likely going to be a competitive squad and have a lot of vets. They're more than likely going to they're more likely to turn him into like a gadget player and make him more useful as compared to if he dropped it to a team like the Hawks or a team like the Hornets or something like that. He'll fall to the Bucks. He's going to be with guys like Giannis, Bobby Portis, Brooke Lopez if he stays.
Right.
They just Drew Holiday. They just have a bunch of veteran guys, and we seen it with Marjon last year, who he had more of a set kind of skill set. He had kind of a set like play style of what he was,
Mm-hmm.
but he still was like a good plug-in player for the Milwaukee Bucks in certain lineups that they had too. And he was same way as whether it was a spot up shooter or as a cutter, diving into the rim off the screens and stuff like that. Chris Livingston can do a lot of the same stuff.
Right.
He just got to get that outside jump shot a little bit more consistent. And I think he can make himself a nice home here in Milwaukee. He just got to really grind for it and figure out what his niche and what his role there is. But as far as Andre Jackson Jr., that's another player I'm a big fan of. Um, Not really a good jump shooter, but a good playmaker and a good defender. Kind of has some Josh Hart type of play style to him. I like that
Okay.
here in Milwaukee too. I feel like he fits in perfectly with them. So I
Okay.
gotta give Milwaukee. I'll give Milwaukee a B plus,
A B
given
plus.
what they had. I'll give them a B plus because it's no given that these guys get any minutes off the rip either because they're a very good team. They're a very solid veteran. So
That's
I'll give them a
fair.
B plus.
Fair analysis. Great analysis as well. Lies. Just what's your thoughts on Milwaukee Bucks? Andre Jackson Jr. from UConn and Chris Livingston from University of Kentucky.
I kind of feel where you guys coming from, but honestly, with that 36 pick, I felt like it was too safe. Um,
Mm.
Honestly, considering the
But
situation they're in, where I was just watching some where Bobby Marks was explaining whether if they lose Brook Lopez or Chris Middleton, they don't really have enough when they lose him to get anything like considering like wealthy back. So I felt
right.
like taking a chance on maybe a guard position would have been wealthy as
Mm.
far as like a guy like Amari Bailey. Having him under Drew Holiday, the way he performed in the March Madness tournament down a couple seniors, he stepped up.
Mm.
I feel like taking him at that 36 pick would have kind of boosted their grade for me. I'm not going to sit there and say Andre Jackson Jr. isn't going to work out for them, or I don't believe in that he's going to succeed. I just felt like it was just too safe considering the situation they're in currently, and I felt like maybe a more exciting guard off the bench will get Giannis excited. When these, I mean,
Mm.
maybe not. I don't know. I just feel like Amari Bailey in a more structured kind of organization like the Milwaukee Bucks, he would really get his full potential out. But I still feel like he'll work out where he went, which we'll get into later.
And I do want to question the 30. So the second round picks, up to what pick are they guaranteed their contract is guaranteed? I think the 40th pick, maybe the 45th. Then contracts are
It's a great
guaranteed
question.
to.
I'm not sure. I just know they just get significantly lower and lower as it goes down.
Because I just don't understand what Clutch Rich Paul was. I mean, like you would think you'd want your client to get a guaranteed contract. So just
Yeah, or maybe he gets a two-way deal, which isn't bad. Because he gets to travel and be with the Milwaukee Bucks organization, gets to be around those guys still. But even though he's not playing, he's still going to be playing with the Wisconsin Herd. He's going to get minutes. He's going to get burned and learn the game there. So maybe
all
that
right,
maybe that's the situation. Guys, a lot of late second round guys just get their contracts converted into two ways.
okay, that's fair. All right, that you definitely opened my eyes to that. So with that being said, in the Central Division, we continue and move on to the Cleveland Cavaliers. And Kyrie, I'm gonna let Lodge go in first. I know he's got a lot to say about this. Had a
Sure.
few this guy right here, Amani Bates. The Cleveland Cavaliers drafted him with a 49th pick. Amani played for Eastern Michigan University. This guy was once upon a time the greatest prospect since LeBron James. He was on all the magazines, and the future was already there. Number one pick and
Mm.
everything.
Supposed to be the next
So
KD.
everything. Listen, talent wise, people still think he's got it in him. What do you think, Lodge, about the Cavaliers drafting him with the 49th pick? Just give me your thoughts on this.
Honestly, it's sad how bro dropped to 49, but we can have a whole nother debate on that. But
Mm.
considering how they flopped in the playoffs and what they struggled in, which was bench points and a well enough shot creator off the bench, he's literally perfect for what they need. Considering all the defensive people they have around him, you don't really need to come in there and be a 3-and-D guy. Amani can come in there and be who he needs to be, and but maybe even project himself to be a 6-man type of guy for them. Maybe not this year, but I feel like if they really open their arms to him, he can become that type of guy and maybe end up being the star he needs to be. Not needs to be, what that can be, which I think he can be. Uh, yeah, I give them an A for this, considering they only had one pick and they got him in the 49th pick. And now all they need to do is now just put him out there and see what they can do for him. Because telling you, bro, ready to go crazy. I guarantee you.
Man. Well, Kyrie, before I swing it to you, I do want to mention now I know how much you factor in the combine is up to you guys. He
Yeah,
did
he was
have
destroying that. Yeah, he was tweaking.
He
Yeah,
was torching
yeah,
that.
he was
He was
tweaking.
torching.
He was tweaking.
he was. So but sometimes the combines are very misleading. We had plenty of guys who did well at the combine, and it was all smoke screen. So we have yet to see what they can be. But he's definitely a volume shooting guy. When I think of him, I think of a bigger Lou Williams, Monty Ellis type of guy, just bigger. He's definitely a volume scorer. He definitely takes up a lot of shots. He's going to shoot a lot,
Yeah.
and I think
He
that's how
needs
what
to.
make that you see. But now it's all about what else can he do outside of that. Now let's see what he can do, because that's really what's going to keep him in the league.
That's the whole point of him going there. That's what's the whole point of him going there. He doesn't need to do anything else but put that ball in the bucket
No,
because they can.
no, but he's got to
Because they
shoot
can.
something else. He's got it. Oh, okay.
But when you got Isaac Okoro and Jetty making plays for everybody,
That's
just give
true.
him the
You
ball and
you got
score.
guys around him
All
that you can
right.
put that can do different
Give him
things.
the ball and let him score. Just point blank period.
That's it. You just all right, Kyrie. I'm gonna swing it to you, man. Just give me your thoughts on this, man.
Yeah, and to kind of piggyback what we were just talking about, we got to understand like not every guy is going to be a super complete all around player. Some guys are brought into teams just to do specific things, and we got to understand that. And with this pick, the 49th pick right here, the Cavs addressed the need where they didn't have any bench scoring. It was evident in their first round knockout by the Knicks. They didn't have any bench scoring. When we put our bench in up against their bench, they just couldn't they simply couldn't keep up with us. They were good defensively, but they simply just couldn't keep up with us scoring wise. And a guy like Imani Bates, who known since high school, middle school, to just be able to put the ball on the basket, even though it's not super efficient, I think he's going to be in a good position around guys like this, where they're already establishing their talent, they're already establishing what they can do, and he's got to come in and score. Yeah, of course he's got to clean up. He got to clean up the turnovers. He's got to take smarter shots. We want to see him pass the ball more and work more effectively and efficiently in a real offense. But what's so funny, Laz? What's good?
Bro, I already know how guys thinking, bro. Ain't no passing Nathan, bro. Nathan Ellis,
Why?
that 49th
He's
pick.
gonna he
But this
listen to
is the
me.
thing though.
Every
This is the
time
thing
he
Look,
though.
touched
look, look.
that ball, bro,
But
it's
listen,
gonna be
this is
this.
the thing though.
I hear what you
He's not a ball hog. He's not a ball
He
hog.
not,
If
but he's not a ball hog.
if
He's not.
he
You're right. He isn't. He isn't a
he
ball
isn't.
hog.
He's
really.
not.
But he don't got time to be general right now. He was 49th pick, bro. Held him. He need to get in and get. He need to get
Look,
shaken instantly.
I'm
Ain't
telling you, I'm
no.
telling you this right now. He better make his stance in summer league.
Well,
he better be like Summer League MVP for like
Summer League is misleading too, because some guys will win MVP in the Summer League, then they go into the rookie and just flop completely. So it's, you know,
but we can't. At the same time, we've seen a lot of guys get their name in Summer League,
that's
and
true.
especially lower picks or especially guys that went
It's
undrafted. We
it's 50-50.
it is, but
Bro,
overall,
money's
like I
going
said,
out there. Oh my god, I can't
overall,
wait.
I really like it.
Wait.
I think he's gonna have a spot there. He's gonna have a role there from day one,
Mm.
and I gotta give it an A. I love it.
All right. Well, you guys are high on Monty Bates. He's gonna be one of the reasons why I even really focus on the Cavs as much as I will ever since LeBron was on the Cavs. So yeah, I'm gonna start focusing on him just because of him. Outside of Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley and Darius Garland, I just want to see what he comes in and does. So with
Yo,
that being,
hold on, before we go on from the Cavs, did y'all see that alert that they could possibly be looking to trade Garland?
yeah, that's I don't know what the Cavs are doing. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I just wanted to
I'm
see. I just
confused
wanted to get y'all
now.
thoughts. It was
So
weird.
now,
I don't
unless
know.
they're getting some superstar point guard, we don't even know that's in the works.
No,
I
they
just
probably
don't.
trade him for Paul George or something.
I don't see why they're trading Darius Garland.
They probably trade him for PG.
You think so? The Donovan Mitchell
That'd be
plays.
See,
crazy.
the
Darius
only, the
Garland.
only, the only, the only, I don't see them trading guard for guard though. They probably want a wing that can. They probably want a two-way wing.
You think that suits better? You think that suits Donovan Mitchell better? You think that's
Yeah, do
like,
you think that?
or do you think
I'd
they
assume so, but
could be
he ain't winning nothing with that. He still might get tapped by New York.
yeah.
With that being said, we go to
Or,
the next team in the Central Division, the Chicago Bulls, and they drafted Julian Phillips from the University of Tennessee. The best leaper at the draft combine, a great length for a wing, really works hard defensively. He was 30% on 2 pointers, 24% from the three. Pretty rough, but so far, athleticism is there. He's got all the intangibles. The athleticism is just top notch. A great athlete. Just give me your thoughts on Chicago Bulls drafting him with the 35th pick, Kyrie. Just what's your thoughts about him?
it kind of surprised me. He kind of seems like a project, a
Mm,
good project to have because he's very athletic. He can defend well.
mm,
Reminds me, it kind of reminds me of a guy they already have in Derrick Jones Jr.
mm.
I think I think it's just wing and defensive depth, and I can't really be mad at the Bulls for adding on to that because they don't have much of it.
Sure don't.
Um, so, but at the same time, he's a project. He's not. You're not going to get much offense from him. But seeing that the moves they're doing and what it seems like they're doing, and I think they're going to run it back with it. They just re-signed Vucevic. I think
It's just
I
there.
think I think it's a good possibility they keep Zach Levine and DeMar. I think they're just going to keep running it back with this core that they have. So I'm not super mad at the pick. They got him in the second round, so I'll give it a B.
Okay, we giving him a B. Live. What's your thoughts? Where you
I'll give
feeling?
it. I'll give it a B. But if that was the case, if they keep in the squad, I would have liked them to draft like Hunter Tyson or somebody.
Mm,
Yeah,
A
I mean
nice little shark fin.
Amari Bailey was there too.
But no, I don't want to do that. And don't disrespect Guy though. Don't you forget about Guy.
Disrespect
See,
who? Who? Ayo?
Io, yeah,
Why
cool
can't
out.
they play together?
I
No, no, no,
Why
no,
can't they
no,
go on
no,
the
no,
floor
no,
together?
no, 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 no. See, they're already doing bro sad because he should have been starting the whole year, but they kept playing. They kept playing games with him. We
Yeah, I
don't
mean
let
it's
Io
because
cook.
you got
Let him
DeMar
cook.
and
Let
Shaq
him
eating
cook.
up all those minutes.
uh,
Let him cook. Let
You
him
got
cook.
Caruso
let
Let
eating
him
him.
up some of
cook.
those minutes too. It's hard to get them out there at
Bro,
times.
he just need to play point. Levine or DeMar need to play that three. Caruso need to play the two or three. And he need to be one. Bro
That's
is
fair.
him.
Fair. That's fair. All right.
Hunter Tyson, maybe Vuce. I would have grabbed Vuce right there. You know, Vuce little cousin or
Other
something.
Vucevic.
Yeah,
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 little cuz. Go draft a Ryan Rupert, another player that you can use in the playoffs if you trying
Ryan
to keep the
Rupert
same
definitely
core.
was a great selection there.
Yeah, but they
So
got
yeah,
Dalen Terry, another big point guard that they didn't use at all last season.
Ooh,
maybe because bro not. Maybe because he
No,
ain't.
Dalen Terry, nice. They just didn't give him no burn. But at the same, like I was saying, bro, that goes kind of goes hand in hand. Why I do not get as much burn.
Mm,
No, he getting burned. They just keep playing with his starting minutes. They just keep playing
okay.
with his starting minutes. Let him
Either way,
start. He gonna be cool.
Chicago's stuck right now.
Chicago, the
Yeah, you need to get rid of Levine.
Lonzo Ball
You need to get rid of
potentially might
Levine.
not be able to play
Uh,
basketball again. You know,
Potentially,
it's
he not. Oh, never
the
mind.
bull the Bulls is
yeah,
just
I'm
man.
not ruling him out until the doctors rule him.
Right. But that's what the Bulls have been putting out there. So at this point, man, the Bulls got it rough. But let's go on to the next team in the Central Division, the Indiana Pacers. And I got to say, Jarris Walker getting drafted by them, I can't even. That was such an ideal fit. So perfect for the team. I think he fits in what the Pacers are as a team, how he's going to help them, especially probably one of the best defensive players, if not the best defensive player for his size at 6'7", 250. Got a 7'2" wingspan, a 39-inch vertical. Man, what's your thoughts on him, Lodge? Just in the Pacers drafting him. And then they got Mojave King from the 47th pick from the G League Ignite. Definitely underrated out of all the four prospects G League Ignite put inside this draft. But he's definitely a nice pick for them, too. Just give me your thoughts on that.
Honestly, the Pacers are slowly but surely building probably one of the best kind of 15-man rosters they had in a while.
Mm.
Honestly, the way this team, the way they're drafting, the way they're building, they're literally one right trade, one right star away to be really like.
You thinking me? You thinking the same thing? They're one trade
So,
away.
and honestly, considering what they're how they're drafting, it's just speaking to just let go of Miles and just grabbing Aiton and letting Aiton kind of had that
Really?
2 punch with Hallie. Like
Yeah,
let
they're
let
supposed
let
to get
let
Aiden
let
last
let
year.
let let Aiden get his 22 and 12, 22 and 13 with a block, and let Isaiah Jackson do all the defensive work.
Okay.
It's just everything the way they're laid out, bro. Is literally perfect. Jarris can do the same exact thing off the bench. If not, he ends up starting to run later down the line, and then grabbing Ben Shepherd, another guy that isn't like he isn't green. He kind of knows you know what you're getting with him. So it's just like I just bro, I kind of wish I was a Pacers fan, low key, but I don't like we cool, but like
So
we
you want
don't
to
do
pull your
things
Knicks
like
card?
this.
You want to pull your Knicks
We
card
don't.
away? You pull
I
your
had
Knicks
to
card
be
away?
emotional for a second because we don't do things like this, bro. It's just I don't really get it.
Well, man, Kyrie. What grade do you give him actually?
I give them an A.
Hey, I'm with you on that. Can't agree anymore. Kyrie, what's your thoughts on the Indian Pacers draft selections and how do they fit for the team moving forward?
Um, Again, I had Jarris going to Indiana at 7, even though they did the little swap thing with the Wizards, which we'll talk about later. I still
Right.
had Jarris going there, and I think he fits in perfect as a big to big passer, as a big man that can handle it a little bit on the floor, create his own shot. It's a solid defender, super solid defender. I think he's just the perfect pick for them, and I explained why plenty of times. But he's gonna have a role there as soon as he gets as soon as he gets on the floor. Ben Shepherd is a player I actually really like. I didn't watch any of them at all this season just because you don't nobody watch Belmont, and that's on my one of my main considerations. Like that's not big competition D1 basketball. But at the same time, he still put up like 19 and 6, and he's a 6'6" point guard, has a nice frame. And like Lars said, he's not green or he's not like really unseasoned or anything. He's been in college all 4 years, and
Mm.
you see it in his game, like how poised and under control and confident he is. He's a very good outside jump shooter. Shoots 40% from the three. He gets to the rim well, but I think he's gonna have some problems finishing at the rim in the NBA. Even though I don't think he's gonna get asked. I don't think he's gonna get asked to do that much just because the other guys he's playing with, like Ben Mathurin, that can get to the rim. Duarte and Tyrese Halliburton have no problems getting to the rim. So him playing that garbage, I really, I'm really eager to see him. Um, Sometime down the line, possibly play with Hadley because that's 6'5", 6'6" apiece with long arms. And both guys are very good, willing passers that can get downhill, have good vision. I just see them playing so well off of each other. You could throw in, then you got Andrew Nemhard you could throw in there. Like Lodge said, Indiana's building their team like the perfect way. They just have a bunch of guys that can play multiple positions. They're getting better defensively, and their core is just outside of Miles Turner, really just all on the same time span. You don't really have to rush anything. You just got to let them get better and let things fall into place. And the last guy that they picked from G League Ignite, Mojave King, who I was a big fan of pre G League Ignite back when he was in high school and all. Kind of disappointed me. He didn't really show me much, but he's another guy I think they're gonna have maybe like on a two-way contract, build his way up in the G League still.
Mm.
And you never know. Maybe he might be a key cog as an athletic wing there. But as far as the two picks, the Ben Shepard and Jarris Walker, I gotta give him an A plus.
A+. Okay, so far,
Oh, hold
A.
on. We kind of disrespected our guy Wong though. They got another shooter with Isaiah
They
Wong at the
did
top.
get Wong. I knew I was forgetting somebody.
Isaiah Wong.
They
Woo.
did get Wong. I don't think he's gonna get a lot of burn there either right now
No,
though.
he not. But he gonna be in the incubator. He gonna be in the
Yeah.
incubator.
If, even then, I think he does very good in summer league because he has a mature play style and he's a little bit older than he got. He can
What's
shoot from the outside. He's very athletic. I think he played well in summer league, but at the same time, I think other teams are going to be looking at him like we see it a lot of times with these guys that don't really that don't might not make like the training camp rosters and they get scooped
Mm.
right back up by somebody else and that they're in their organization. So I could definitely
Hmm.
see that being an avenue for Isaiah Wong because they have a lot of guys that play his position.
Very fair points. Man, Indiana Pacers, man, the whole Central Division looks pretty. They made pretty smart decisions so far outside the Bulls might be a little 50-50 depending on who you ask, but so far, Central Division have been pretty good so far. So with
Mm.
that, we go. What you said? What happened, Kyrie?
No, I was just agreeing with you.
Got you. So we're definitely moving on to the last team in the Central Division, the Detroit Pistons, and their team. They drafted Asar Thompson, and I do gotta say, you got Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, Asar Thompson, and then Killian Hayes. Now, I'm guessing when they drafted Marcus Sass from Houston for with the 25th pick, maybe it was more of an assurance that the Killian Hayes might not be coming back
Out of there,
potentially,
bro.
right? So that's what I'm thinking. So but now I'm thinking that all these guards, K, Jaden, Asar, and now they all can't shoot. Athletic can defend, but none of them are good shooters. Now we don't know what they're doing in the offseason. They could be improving this, so we have yet to see in the upcoming season. But just give me your thoughts on that, Kyrie. And I like the pick. I give him an A-. I love Asar Thompson and Marcus. I love it. It's just
Hmm.
the shooting has a lot to be desired, considering the fact the front court, they got a diverse big man guys. Isaiah Stewart, Marvin Bagley, Jalen Duran, James Wiseman. You know, they definitely got collection of big man talent. So it's just a shooting has just been really the biggest issue right now. So what's your thoughts on that?
So kind of how I'll say this, kind of like how Lodge was speaking to the Indiana Pacers as he kind of wishes he was a fan of them and he appreciates their growth as a team. I feel that way about the Pistons because even though they're garbage last season, they still have a longer way to go than the Pacers do. I really like the young talent they've accumulated over the years, and I like what I can potentially see them doing with it. And
Right.
as far as an Asar Thompson goes, I kind of broke down how a Thompson Twin and Amen would fit in there during our mock
Mm,
draft episode, and I can see Asar fitting in the same exact way. He's a high level playmaker, just like his brother, a high level athlete. Even though he doesn't break it out as much as his brother, he likes to conserve it a little bit more, but he can
right.
still effortlessly gets to the rim. Like I said, a high level athlete. It's just that jump shot that has to translate, like you said. But as
He's a
far
better
as
shooter
that,
out the two.
he is the better shooter, and I like his shooting form a little bit. I like his shooting form a little bit more. I think it's better. I think it's easier, going to be easier to build off of.
Mm.
But I like another thing. I think that differs between him and his brothers' games because they're very similar. Is I think when he gets the ball in his hand, he's a little more confident because one, he seems to be a little bit bigger to me. Not a lot, but a little bit bigger than Amen. And he's a little bit better than using his body as far as like shielding off contact and getting to the rim. So I like that. But I'm banking on Jaden Ivey's and Caden Cunningham's outside jump shooting to get better to complement them. So that's going to be the swing factors for all three of those guys working as a unit. But as far as Marcus Sasser picking him up at 25th pick, with even though I'm a huge fan of him, I honestly just seen him going second round. I didn't think a
Ah.
lot of teams were put onto him that much. I didn't think a lot of teams really like him that much, to be honest with you, because he's a bit of an undersized guard. But he has a very mature play style as well. He reminds me a lot of Kyle Lowry.
Mm.
He kind of got like that pit bull stature, can shoot from the outside. He's a tough, staunch defender, averaging over a steal and a half a game. And he's a very efficient player that doesn't play outside of himself He's a very good teammate and is good at finding his guys. I watched him a lot play with Jarris Walker last season, and those guys played very well together. So I really love it here for the Pistons. I got to go ahead and give them an A as well.
As well, okay, Lodge. Give me your thoughts on their draft selections and how they fit the team moving forward.
So I really, 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 really love the Asar pick, but I really want to. One, I'll give them an A minus. They would have got an A plus if they would have grabbed either these three players other than Marcus Sasser. I'd like them to grab Ben Shepard, Bryce Sensabaugh, or Julian Strother, other than Marcus Sasser.
Okay.
Ben would have been nice there. Ben
All
Shepherd would
right.
have been nice there.
So I
Julian
just feel
Starr would
like
have been nice.
somewhere in that wing position off the bench where they have a guy that one isn't really necessarily a project. You know what you're getting out of them. I
Hmm.
feel like Marcus Sasser in a way is kind of a project considering his size, considering what they already have. It's just like I don't see the need of him right now. Even with the loss of Killian Hayes, you still have another guard that you just drafted at number 5. So it's just I honestly felt like another wing player off the bench that can kind of score and maybe create for others would have kind of fit better for them, considering they're all just surrounded by young guys, and I highly doubt they get a vet anytime soon.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I give them an A minus. It would have been an A or A plus if they would have grabbed three of those guys, one of those three guys I just named out there.
Julian Starr would have been nice. Now that I can't. I'm trying to envision that'd have been nice. But the Nuggets picked them up, so they knew they did a nice scout report. They did a nice scout report. So with that, that ends the Central Division. We move on to the final division of this NBA Eastern analysis and grading review. We dive into the Atlantic Hawks, and man, I love their draft selection from the 15th, 39th, and 46th pick. Kobe Buffkin from Michigan, Muhammad. I can't pronounce the last name. Can you guys help me? From Washington State
What
University.
it sounds like on draft night is Muhammad Gay.
Muhammad got you. And I definitely watched Seth Lundy from Penn State. A lot. Just fun fact: he went to my high school, Chris High School, Roman Catholic High
That's the
School.
kid.
Yeah, man. So the Roman Catholic, listen, got a lot of talent, man. Tony
Mm-hmm.
Carr,
Yep.
Lamar
Jalen Duran.
Stevens, right?
Jalen Duran's a former Roman Catholic player. Yep.
I know. So it's pretty awesome seeing alumni make it to the league, man. Definitely awesome.
Yep.
But with that being said, Kyrie, just give me your thoughts on the Atlantic Hawks draft selection and what grade would you give him, man? And what's your favorite pick out of those three?
My favorite pick. I'm gonna definitely have to go with Kobe Buffkin because
Mm.
one, I like the fact that he's a bigger guard for them and he's comfortable handling the ball. I could definitely see him working with Trey Young if the Johnson to go to the bench for a few minutes.
Mm.
Definitely could see him work with Trey Young because he's a lefty and loves working that left side of the floor and is good
Gotcha.
at getting downhill and getting using his body to get to the rim. I really like him there. Muhammad Gay, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really know much about him. I haven't seen much about him, but from what I've seen at Washington State of about 14-8, seems to be more big man depth, and
Right.
from his frame and from like a few highlights I've seen, looks like he has some switchability. So I'm eager to see what he does there. But lastly, Seth Lundy is a pick that's very intriguing to me because even though I did watch a lot of Penn State, I've seen a lot of his highlights from, like you said, back when he was at Roman Catholic and throughout his years at Penn State. And a lot of you gonna like this. He reminds me a lot of Ron Harper Jr. Where he's about 6'6", but he can lose a little weight. He's got a little baby fat on him, but he has long arms and he's very good at creating jump shots. He's one of the best from all these guys I've seen. He's one of the best like difficult shot makers in the draft that I've seen. He's just really good at using his frame and using those long arms to get his reach above and get his shot off above defenders. Um, I really like that. If it comes down to, from what I'm hearing, they want to move on from DeAndre Hunter, and kind of put
Mm.
AJ Griffin as their lead two man. If that's what they're planning, if that's what happens, I definitely like that with Seth coming off the bench and getting some experience. So I give uh I give Indiana a B plus just because I think they could have possibly got a better big man somewhere. Maybe even a Leonard Miller who dropped to the second round. I think they could have got him to kind of be like Clint Capella insurance because he's on the decline a little bit, and I could possibly see him leaving soon too.
That's
And
fair.
but you just want some insurance for Onyeka Okongwu as well. You just need some. You just need. I just feel like they just need some more big man depth and some guys that can rebound and block shot. But overall, I give them a B.
A B, okay. Lodge. Just what's your thoughts on the Landon Hall's draft selections and why do they fit the team moving forward?
Well, I'm happy they didn't continue to draft like surefire projects or people that you have to work into what they were trying to do
Right.
with a guy like Kobe Buffkin. Um, I kind of did bounce back what Ree was saying with grabbing a better big man and Leonard Miller. Honestly, that would have been John Collins and on Clint Insurance, considering John Collins may finally. Well, is he already left? Didn't he? But he got traded
Yeah,
already,
John's
right?
on. John's in Utah. Yep.
So yeah, that would have been like a perfect energy guy at that four spot if he ended up starting, if he worked out that well, or off the bench. Considering if Onyeka moves up, another energy guy that can run the floor, get above the rim. I mean, honestly, he might be a better 3 point shooting prospect than John Collins ended up being for them, which I think they ended up kind of wanting out of him more, considering they had Clint down the paint more majority of the time. Um, so for that, I'll give them a B minus. I do really like the Kobe Buffin pick. I'm kind of excited to see that. With him coming off the bench and possibly getting started minutes occasionally if something falls down with one of the injured guards as well. Yeah, I'm excited to see what they do this year. Bree, do you think they get rid of DeJounte, or you think that's a bluff?
I don't. It's been
Dude,
feeling like bluff. I want I want them to just so we have a shot at getting them and pairing them in the backcourt with Jalen.
that's
That's the only scenario I'd want him to go. But as
Bro,
far
not
I
going nowhere near NY. He'd probably go to
come on.
Brooklyn.
I know, but I don't think
Him
they're
and
going to
him and
move.
Mike Bell.
I don't think they
Ooh.
give up on the trade Dejounte experiment just 1 year
Yeah,
into
they only
because
had
I
1 year.
honestly think those guys can work out. I think Dejounte being a bigger guard and being such a good defender, and Trey just being such a great outside jump shooter and shot creator. I think they're going to have to sacrifice a little bit in their games to make it work. But I definitely see that working down the line. They're just going to have to both invest into it. So, well, I see it very unlikely that Dejounte gets traded or goes somewhere else.
Yeah, I don't see the Hawks. I mean, they I mean,
But
yeah,
fair
I
enough.
don't see Monte.
If they try to slide him somewhere, they'll slide him to us. That's all I'm saying.
No, no,
I doubt it.
no, right. No, y'all don't need them. Y'all don't need them. Y'all got
No, we do need him, but
Do need him,
y'all don't need them. Y'all
bro.
got
I'll give them RJ Barrett right now.
who's going? You think Hawks and say? Oh, no, come on,
Give them
let's
bro,
not.
they can
RJ,
have
Come on
Julie.
now.
They can have RJ, Julius, and Obi.
They don't want Julius Randle.
RC,
I don't see
lot
why
They
he
don't.
better than John Collins. What do you mean I'm drawn? What do we
Is he?
need
Is
the
he
three of
really?
them for?
Is he?
Give
Is
me
he better
Jalen
than?
Johnson and DeAndre Hunter. I'll be cool. What?
All right.
Crazy? Reed
Listen.
bobbing his head like he's trying to compromise. They are all going for DeJounte and DeAndre Hunter. What do you mean?
bro. As much as you don't like Julius, bro, we a playoff team because of him, though. We a playoff team because
Yeah,
hardly
That
going
and
is
because of
true.
him,
That
we are
is
we are we
true.
we, we are a first round prospect because of him. Hot garbage, bro. I don't give a crap
Yeah,
what he did.
and you trade him for another non All Star outside. I mean, you getting
Who?
the Johnson back, but it's just like what with Jalen Johnson
John
been
Collins, an
there.
All
What are
Star,
you really gonna do
actually.
for him?
John Collins
Bro,
was
what
an
do you
All
mean?
Star.
I just said DeAndre Hunter and Jalen Johnson.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
just said
give
that.
a
What are you really gonna
crap.
do for
Bro, we can pick up somebody else. I don't care. We're not going to just. He can go. I'm not.
Trading for
see, I
Jalen
already know.
Johnson. I mean,
I already know like the logistics of
you
this.
you're taking a big risk
Bro,
if you taking
y'all
Jalen
take too
Johnson.
much. You see what happens when y'all take too much stock in Julius? I do this every offseason. No, we can't get rid of him. Look what he does.
It's not taking
Who
too
Hey,
much stock. It's
cares?
just understanding what the trade market is for him. We're not getting
get
nothing. We're not getting
Lodge.
nothing
Give it
crazy
one
back
more
in return
season.
from him.
I
Give it
don't
one
see
more
why. He was
season.
a third team all NBA. One more season, my ass. He is hot garbage. I don't need him. He's a really, bro. No,
Uh listen, man.
real weak,
Listen.
real weak.
I can't
Bro was
wait to
really on that
see.
podcast talking like bro was really like meant to stay there. Like, no, you're not. Like, you're really
Yes, he
not.
is. He's about to stay there
No,
for
he's
y'all,
not.
man. You guys love him deep
He's
down.
really
It's
not.
okay. All right. Listen.
Yeah.
With that being
Bro,
said,
send
we
him to the Clippers for PG, please. Dear
negative.
God.
Negatory. Yeah, please. Listen, let's get to the next team in the Southeast Division. The Miami Heat. They went to the finals again. No one thought they would do it. And I gotta say, knocking off the first seed Bucks, number two Celtics, and making the finals with a rotation of 5 4-year college players, 4 of them that went undrafted. I wasn't surprised he drafted a senior in Jamie Jacquiz from UCLA, man, and
Here we
definitely he's
go,
a
son.
Yeah, it's Jaime Jaquez.
Jaime
I may
Jaquez, bro.
I may Hawkins. I
Jamie Jaquez.
apologize for that. I
Wow, you
apologize for that.
tweet.
I
You try to gloss
apologize.
over that, George.
I got
Respect to my boy.
with that, I can't disrespect him. But he's definitely the Heat culture guy that they look for in prospects, and I think he's gonna fit with the program. I think Pat Riley knew exactly what he was doing. If they're Eric Spoelstra too, when they did their research scouting out this guy. The only thing about him, he is one of the best mid-range shooters in this draft class, but he was never a high volume and consistent three-point shooter. But I think that's something that the Heat they definitely can work with him on that, and they have been known to help prospects work with that. So I give him an A minus, between A minus. Just what's your thoughts, Lodge?
I give them an A plus. This is probably the best draft pick selection as far as fit for team and fit for player. Um, this is this is honestly probably my favorite pick of the draft. Like I said, for the fit for both sides of the coin, but it's just perfect. Honestly, I feel like they kind of get if Duncan leaves, I feel like that is like an easy replacement for a guy that can kind of like fill in for what he kind of did. Not to say he's a spot up shooter, but he is a guy that can get out there and get you a good amount of points off the bench. Uh, in one, again, he's not a guy that again as a project. You get what you're getting out of him from what you've seen in college. You're pretty much projecting for him to do out in the league. And again, he's literally in the perfect situation for him.
That's it is.
Yeah, but
No,
I give him
can't
A plus
disagree.
for that.
Can't disagree with you with that one, Kyrie. Just what's your thoughts? How do you
Shit,
fit for the Heat?
I gotta agree with both of y'all. When I seen this pick, I laughed out loud. I literally did because one, it was such a Miami Heat pick, and two, Cam Whitmore was there, and in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, hey, maybe you go Cam Whitmore. But
Ah,
I'm like, I mean, Hawkins just fits in much better, bro. So when they picked him, it was just like I knew it. Like Cam
ah,
Whitmore is obviously one. Everybody was surprised he slid that low. He went 2 picks later at 20. But two, he's younger and obviously seen as the more talented prospect. But it's the Heat,
mm,
so they went with the guy that just fits better, and they know it
he's gonna
like
contribute.
his game is going to translate like right away to what they're going to do. So I'm not saying I was laughing because I didn't think it was the right choice. It was definitely the right choice, but it's just like they stick to their guns and they stick to their style of who guys that they like play with them so much. And Jaime Hawkins was just that perfect guy for all the reason he was played.
Absolutely,
I'm not gonna elaborate too much more, but I love the pick.
absolutely,
I got to give it an A.
absolutely. Well, the Heat never really. I can't think of a bad draft selection the Heat really made the past 5 to 6 years. They've really been knocking out like
Um,
draft selections.
didn't they
Kendrick
draft
Nunn.
Justice Winslow?
Kendrick,
Kendrick
no,
Nunn.
Kendrick Nunn played well. Grant, he did play well for the Heat. Come on, don't do that.
Didn't they draft Justice Winslow though, or did he get
That
drafted
was
before?
That was like
that was
I
like
said the
7, 8, 9 years ago.
yeah I said the past five
What
to
was that 24?
six.
What was that 24? Oh,
2014,
5 to 6 got
2014.
you. It
Yeah.
was still under Spoelstra in them though. That was like
Yeah,
No,
24.
that
That
was
was like
horrible.
no,
2015.
Justin was 2015 because he was
Yeah,
saying that
yeah, same
because
year.
Duke
Yeah,
won because Duke
That was
won a
8 years
championship
ago,
that
bro.
that wasn't
We're
yeah that was
eclipsing a
8 years.
decade.
5 6. I said 5 to 6 then. All right, 5 to 6.
I'm saying
Okay.
that's still close
Bro,
for him.
I don't even think that's a bad pick, man. That's just bad production, bro. That was
Justice
supposed to
No, it's
work out
not bad.
better.
Winslows. Justice Winslows. All right, we go to the Washington Wizards, man. I need some help pronouncing this man's name.
My guy Bilal.
Bilal from France, one of Wemby's teammates. Wemby's advocated for this guy the whole pre-draft process, and teams and scouts are starting to realize this man's greatness, potential
Bro,
greatness.
better well dang or something.
So with the, Lodge, listen, I'm gonna say it to you, Lodge. You got a lot to say. Go ahead. What's your thoughts for the Washington Wizards? And they had the 47 pick, Tristan. I can't pronounce that last name as well.
Vucevic.
Vucevic.
Vucevic from Serbia. So, what's your thoughts about these two draft selections? How do they fit the Washington Wizards moving forward? Clearly in the rebuilding process. They traded Bradley Beal, got Jordan Poole. He's going to average 20 to 25. Got
I
Tyus
ain't
Jones.
averaging 20. He averaging a dub.
20
Easy.
to 25. Tyus Jones, one of the best backup point guards, probably the starting point guard if they don't have anyone by the free
Bro,
agency between now and
Tyus
then.
is not letting him shoot 30 shots a game, bro. I'm letting you know that right now.
Just what's your thoughts,
I
Lodge?
think I close it down.
Just what's your thoughts
Honestly,
on the
I give,
draft lesson?
considering how they develop people, bro, I'm gonna give them a B minus, and I'm
Mm.
being again generous.
Ooh.
You got a guy like Denny Avia that you just drafted is very similar to Tristan Vucevic, where can't figure out yet you draft a guy maybe an inch or two taller.
Mm.
And the Bilal pick, you picked him at 7, so it's just like
So many draft selections they could have got. They could have picked up a point guard in Casey Wallace.
yeah, so it's
But
just
they taking a
like
risk. They see the potential in him. They see the potential in
like I
Bilal that
said,
maybe we're not seeing.
better be Michael Finley, Luol Deng. I don't know. He better be something wild, bro. I'm telling
Well, if you draft him at 7, you kind of want more at that point. Well, you're in a rebuilding stage,
I
so
mean,
what more?
he honestly like a utility star, bro, and he ain't got nothing really utility off of, bro. He really like I don't know. I'd rather him went somewhere else. I honestly would have rather him go to the Jazz,
Oh, Jazz.
which
Okay.
I think I've rejected either Reed did or I did
No,
for him
I
to
did.
go.
You had him going there. I had him going to Orlando.
With the 11th pick?
Which probably would have worked out a lot better too, because that's what Orlando needs. They don't need another person that can kind of be a star on what they roll. They need this guy that can literally just be a utility guy that does everything
Right.
around the floor, and that's what kind of
Yeah.
Bilal kind of gives me.
Mm.
But he don't really have nothing to feed off of around there, and I don't really. Maybe I'm tripping, but I don't see him developing as well as I think he could somewhere else.
No, I'll piggyback off that because I definitely agree with Lodge. I was kind of one. I was super hyped when they announced Indiana selected him. And that was before they announced it was a trade. They had swapped, and it left me confused. But come to find out, a lot of teams were trying to trade up to that number 7 pick for Indiana to grab Lau, but
Mm.
the Wizards had the best offer because they were only a pick behind them and could promise them Jarris when they swapped. So
Can't turn down
at that,
Jazz.
so with Bilal there, I agree with Lodge because he could be like a Swiss Army knife type of star, kind of like a Nick Batum, like a guy that just fits in well with everybody and does everything not great but very good or good. And he just doesn't have much. He just doesn't have much to feed off that over here, like you said. Like they're a very young raw team. They just literally stripped it down to the bottom, and they have like really no type of like veteran presence or anything like that.
At all.
So I for someone like me that's very high on Bilal and that really could see him like developing into a great player, and I think he has the size and the already like natural like talent in certain aspects to do it himself and not have to rely so much on his teammates here in Washington. But I think it's just going to be. I honestly just think it's going to be harder here. And same thing for Vukovic, just because I'm getting at is I don't really trust Washington's development with any of their players. Like Laz mentioned, Avdia, Corey Kispert seeming a little bit stagnant at his second season in the league. I want to see how he continues to grow. Daniel Gafford came over for Chicago, and I feel like was a good pickup for them, but he kind of seemed like he stagnated and tailed off a bit too. It just seems like players don't really grow too well there.
Well,
So
I mean, they do have a new general management, a new owner. They
that's
really
true.
shifted the top. So coaching.
That's
So
true.
so we
And
we don't know
and
what they can do.
and Wes Unseld Jr. He did just finish his second season. Still is a
Right.
young new coach. But he's a defensive minded coach too, which I definitely like for
Bilal offense.
Bilal because that's where he his bread and butter is at, getting out in transition, disrupting plays and stuff like that, creating extra possessions. So I gotta be and this is me being generous. I gotta give the pick a C plus, just because I don't really like them for Bilal. That's just me personally.
So this is a question for you guys, open field. So you guys don't think he could be a modern two-way NBA star potential wise? You don't see that happening for him?
I definitely see that happening. I definitely see it happening, and I
Okay.
believe he
Bro, if he
can.
would have went to
But with
Indiana,
Washington, it's gonna be harder.
bro, if he
Okay.
would have went to Indiana, dog.
Then you would have been at a higher
If you
percentage
went
of
to Indiana, if you went to Orlando, If he
As
went
much
to
as Reed didn't
Oklahoma
like it,
City,
as much as Reed didn't like it, I would have liked him going to Utah too.
I, I could have seen him in Utah if they got like a real point guard there. Like if I got the stuff together, and got a real point guard there. I would have loved him there. But
I said to
yeah,
Utah.
it was even in Indiana, like the original pick, Indiana. I was happy he was going there. I felt like he could have fit there too.
Yep.
You don't turn down
But
Jared Wallace though. I mean Jared Walker though.
Darius Walker was definitely by far the better fit for them.
Right, right.
That's who they should have went with. But
Oh,
yeah,
that's fair. Fair points. Okay, you guys are feeling awfully generous for the Washington Wizards. I can't wait to see what they turn into in the next couple of years. With that, we move on to the next Southeast team. Oof, Orlando Magic. Now, they got a lot of guards. A lot of guards. I love Anthony Black. I love Anthony Black's game, right? And the biggest thing for him, whether he can stick in the league or not, is a jump shot, right? Do we have another potential MCW here if the jump shot never hits and he just has everything else? Or do we have a guy that he takes them to the next level?
that's actually a very good comparison, Colin.
So, and
Yeah,
then Jet Howard. I just didn't understand it.
Oh yeah, well yeah. So
I mean, I like
yeah,
Jet Howard. Listen to me. I like him. Could be a lot better defensively. Offensively, he's got everything you need. But I don't know what the Magic needed him. But I love Anthony Black, and I'm assuming they're trading either Jalen Suggs, Cole Anthony, or Markel Fultz because you got to let a guy like Anthony Black get his reps. And him
hmm
and Paolo is going to be the biggest difference maker. If those two could gel, get their chemistry, and they really get it, Magic could be something dangerous the next 2 to 3 years.
yeah. I just don't see why they didn't trade down if Jet was their guy because Jet wasn't projected to go this high whatsoever.
Jet was it? They had him
But
really
Jet was
15
was
and
like
30.
exactly, it literally like mid to like around the 20s area, if anything. And I definitely could have seen a situation where they were able to trade down for him if they wanted him because he is kind of unique in his own way where they have him listed as shooting guard, but he's 6'8", and he's very good at exploiting mixed matches between smaller guards.
Mm.
But at the same time, you picked him here at 11. I mean, yeah,
I mean, they got better draft selections they could have had. I mean, honestly, you
he
could
could have
have picked up
drafted
Grady
Grady.
Dick.
could
Right,
have
Grady
drafted
Dick.
Grady, could have drafted
Uh,
Keontae if you was really feeling. Could have traded down for Keontae if you was really feeling that. I mean, they
really?
had options.
Keontae?
Maybe,
I
maybe
would have drafted. I would have drafted Jordan Hawkins before that.
Right.
even Jordan Hawkins. Yeah,
I would,
you're
yeah.
right. So that's
Honest,
why
I'm not
it didn't really
gonna.
make any sense to me because they could have traded down to get him if they really wanted to. But as far as Anthony Black, that one kind of it confused me a little bit as well. But I do, all in all, I do like it because he's a different mold of point guard or
I
guard
love his game.
than they drafted these past couple of years in Jalen Suggs and Cole Anthony. And he's a much better defender than all of them too.
All of them combined.
He's a much better defender than all of them. So that helps him stand out from day one. Like you pointed out, Colin, whether his jump shot translate or not, it separates him from whether he'll be a like a Michael Carter Williams or if he could be we're seeing like Josh get or like Alonzo Ball or something like that, Alonzo LaMelo
Mm.
Ball.
Okay.
So we'll see. Overall, I gotta give this one. I gotta give this one a C+ too, though.
C
Just because
plus.
I think you took a risk on Jet too high, and
Um,
you could have
mm.
traded down for him because I don't think
But
anybody up there really wanted him,
but then I'm thinking to myself, Jonathan Isaac. Well, he's not really, he's not
bro.
really
He's
that,
done.
right. So
He's done.
maybe Jet, maybe that's why they drafted Jet. But then like you guys said, Grady Dick,
But see,
Jordan
and if that's the
Hawkins,
case, he doesn't provide the same like athleticism or like kind of
defensive
defense that
potential,
I
right?
exactly. But just a straight up score,
That's fair. That's fair.
just a straight up score. So yeah, I
Lodge,
gotta give it a C+. C.
C+ on Kyrie's end. Lodge, what are you rocking with in terms of this? And then just give me the true thoughts on how these guys moving forward could help the Magic become a better competitor overall in the league.
Honestly, I like the Anthony Black pick. I, but I really think they could have kind of. I think they should have took a different type of risk and again grab somebody who's not so green because they already have a lot of not to say the people they have are green, but they still have a lot of projects around them.
Of
Like
course.
people like Cole Anthony, whether people like it or not, as much as I love him, he still has some things he needs to get chiseled out. whether he stays or leaves. Guys like Jalen Suggs, you still have yet to figure that out. I feel like Markel Fultz, I feel like he's plateauing in a way, but also kind of getting to where he needs to be to get himself confident enough.
Right.
Right.
So it's just a
They
little,
got so many guards. It's ridiculous.
just indifferent. And as far as again, picking Jet, bro, at 11, it's just
It just bothers you too much.
yeah. I would let you try to trade down and grab somebody more seasoned, or even like a straight defensive guy like Olivier or Maxence Prosper or something like that. Because like, you need some type of specialty uh, type of guy or like a rim runner type of guy, which I think they kind of lack in a way.
How would y'all? How would y'all like if they got Buffkin or like traded out for Buffkin instead of Jet?
Would Buffkin have been the more? Would you have been more excited about that?
Yeah, because he's not green, but it's still kind of well. That means you're definitely getting rid of Cole Anthony then. I feel like 'cause he's literally like a Cole Anthony type of guy off the bench for them, like another 6 man prospect who probably could honestly give out the same amount of production, maybe even more efficiently if you give him the same amount of minutes Cole had. So maybe, as much as I love Cole, but yeah, I think that would have probably been a way better pick. Even. So yeah, but I give them a probably a solid C. I, s- I feel like they're in a situation now. They kind of accumulated so many draft picks. You need to start making moves that are kind of they're gonna end up either flushing things out or get a vet over there or people that are a lot older that can kind of build what you kind of. I honestly feel like they don't have an identity still yet to this day.
That's
And
true.
that's one thing they're kind of lacking in a lot of people. And I think it's because they're always trying to build something or figure out. They're always trying to find the identity of what they have on their roster first instead of the team, like the team
Yeah,
as a
and
whole. So it's I don't know if I explained that right, but it's
I I can piggyback off that a little bit because I kind of get what you're saying. And it seems like every year, outside of course the number one pick with Paulo, they draft regardless of fit and just draft guys that they like straight up. Like so, that's why they got a Cole Anthony and Jalen Suggs like a year or two later. And like they just pile up on guys that they remember a few years ago they were drafting nothing but big men. Like so they don't they don't draft for fit. They see guys that they like and they just go ahead and pick them up. So that could probably kind of I feel like that attributes to why they don't really have like a set identity yet.
Man, Orlando Magic probably one of the. If you had to rank the teams with the most potential, OKC. Got to throw the Magic at number two. No, maybe Rockets might have the most. Yeah, maybe OKC, Rockets, Magic. Then it's really a toss up between the four and fifth spot.
You got the Rockets over the Pistons.
Oh yeah, oh
Okay.
yeah. I got Rockets with Pistons,
I,
but
eh,
I do want to say I haven't seen Cade. He's been hurt, and he ain't. I want to see him
mm,
play. Yeah, I just got to see what
just
Cade because
scaring me.
we know what Jalen Green can do, and I, we don't want to say that Ime, is the better coach because I think Monty Williams, like, we got to see what the coaches do with these guys too.
right.
That's the
That's
big. So this season, I'm really excited to see all like the young rebuilding teams, like especially Pistons, Rockets. So definitely. But that being said, oof, man, we go to the meat and potatoes, the main dish of this whole episode. The
mm,
Charlotte Hornets, man. Charlotte Hornets. I know Live was not happy at all. A lot of Hornets fans were very unhappy. The general manager, Mitch, when they asked him why he drafted Brandon Miller, he's kind of was stumbling over his words. Like he was trying to convince himself that this was the right pick.
yeah, but at the same time, he told everybody I was they pick all along, which I found out, which I think is cat.
Well, I do think it's cap. I think as at a certain point it was like, man, Scoop just. But then, are you risking? Can those Mello and Scoop play together? That's the biggest question. I think Brandon Miller obviously was just the better fit for them. Granted, if Miles Bridges does leave, Brandon Miller comes and fills in
He's not
exactly what.
leaving. He just got extended a qualifying offer to stay.
Really, I heard there was some rumors about trading him to the Cavaliers. The Cavs were
Well,
interested in trading for him. Pacers were
he's
traded.
restricted, so other teams can offer him. He's a restricted free agent.
Oh,
So they
okay.
made
Well,
they made the first offer to him, but other teams can
Bro,
offer
I
him.
tell you right now, if they get rid of him over because of Brandon Miller, he better be Paul George, bro. He better be Paul George.
Look,
He better be PG.
I was literally just talking to somebody about it. I can honestly see a situation where if a team offers Miles in a ballpark where they don't want to match it, they feel more comfortable letting him go because they have Brandon. Now, I'm
Exactly.
not saying that's the right thing. I just see that being something that they do, and
That's
I
cool.
honestly think
And, you
that's
know
the
what's
wrong.
gonna happen? LaMelo gonna leave,
I doubt it.
bro. That's his man's.
That is true.
I doubt he
That's his
leaves
man's.
over it though. I don't think he's gonna be happy, but I doubt he leaves over
Bro,
it.
But you gotta see
once
the
he see what
bond.
Brandon on, bro, he gonna be weak. I'm telling
But
you,
I feel like, listen to me.
he gonna
I
be
think
weak, bro.
I think everything inside. I think Brandon
Yeah,
is. Listen to me.
You know how Jabari Smith started out his season. He gonna be just like that the whole all 82 games. I guarantee.
So would you say Jabari is better than Brandon Miller? And
Yes,
coming out of the
We said that
prospect,
before.
coming out as
Hmm.
prospects.
Yeah.
easily.
Rated.
I don't even have to think about that.
Oh, oh, okay. All right, Lies. I'm gonna
Bro was
start with
not
Lies
getting
first.
bro was not getting picked top 5 in that draft, bro. Stop.
Wait, Lies. Now you know what, Kyrie. I'm gonna say it to Lies first. Give me your thoughts. So outside of Brandon Miller, they drafted Nick Smith Jr. with the 27th pick. I was actually surprised they drafted him with that pick, and then they drafted James Najee from Nigeria with the 31st pick. Then the 41st pick, Amari Bailey from UCLA. Really did not expect that one. So, listen, Lodge, 4 draft picks. How do you think these guys factor into the Hornets' future? How did they improvement? And what's your thoughts on each guy?
I give them a C minus off the bat.
C
I honestly feel like
minus.
one because I feel like their second round picks were better than their first round picks.
You really don't like Brandon Miller? Come on, man.
No, it's not even about not liking him. Number one, he's not a number 2 prospect player in any other draft. First of all, number two, you already had a proven player in Miles Bridges that plays the same position as him, which I highly doubt you get the same amount of production and same amount of like just production, not even by points, but just overall production as a player on the court. I mean, you're not getting that out from him. So whether you move on or don't move on, I don't see the point of having him. And Nick Smith Jr., that's another complete project. And then you go and draft a developed rookie in Amari Bailey, who I feel like will, to me, I don't see how he doesn't get more minutes than him. So it's just like in
I agree with that.
The James Najee pick. Honestly, the Hornets are log jammed everywhere. They have like
Well,
3, 4 different rim runners from like 3 different 4 draft classes.
Lodge.
They
I
have
will
like
say.
3 now. They have like old guard and Terry Rozier. Now they just drafted 2 more, and Nick Smith
Well,
Jr. and Amari Bailey.
Granted though, and I'm sure Kyrie watched UCLA play when Amari went to a seasoned veteran squad in UCLA, so he had to play more of a. He was really playing more off the bench. But I will say when he did get his time to shine over the last 7 games when Jalen Clark got injured, Kyrie, if you remember,
Hmm.
he was averaging 17 points a game, shooting
Yeah,
59%.
to
He was
me,
shooting.
that's their best pick of the draft, and honestly, he doesn't even fit with them. He doesn't even fit with them, if we're being really honest. He doesn't at all.
But you got to try to make it work. He was a 5-star, top 10, top 15 recruit.
Yeah,
And when he got his times in the biggest moments, he showed out.
bro. I
So
just
it's
don't see
like,
why. I just don't know why
But Nick Smith
bro.
Jr. was
You
just
draft
questionable.
Scoot and bring back Miles, bro. Tickets are getting sold out, bro. I don't know what we talk about right now,
So you just dislike just the Hornets draft
bro.
selections
The team
altogether.
could be so much better, bro. Look, I can give you exactly what they could have did right here. They could have drafted
Okay.
Scoot at number 2.
Okay.
Where's their next pick at? Hold on. Where's it at? Hold on. I was just looking at it.
27th pick.
Nick Smith Jr. Bro,
Nick Smith Jr.
they could have drafted a Gordon Hayward replacement with Ben Shepherd right there.
Okay. All right. What about the first pick?
What you said? Which pick?
The 31st pick.
He's first.
The 31st pick. James
Yeah.
Najee. He probably could have stayed.
Leonard
I
Miller
would
right
have.
there too. Though.
You had
Leonard
Kai
Miller.
Jones, bro. You got Kai
Oh,
Jones. You
all
got
right. Kai
PJ.
Jones. Well,
It's
PJ is
too
actually
many of the same.
PJ is a
It's
Yeah.
too
free
many of the
agent.
same.
Is PJ a restricted free agent? Or he's an
I
unrestricted free
don't
agent.
know, bro. Probably only gonna get a job in Charlotte for real, bro. The way he's been
Nah.
switching.
He'll get some interest from a couple of teams. Uh, but all right. So C minus lies. You just dislike the whole Hornets draft selection.
Bro, they
Just
could have walked out with a way better situation, bro. You draft Scoot, whether they work or not, you can just let go of LaMelo, bro.
okay, Kyrie. Hold on. I'm gonna swing it to you now, Kyrie. Give me your thoughts. Hold on, Kyrie. Give me your. I gotta hear your thoughts, man. I'm so interested right now.
I'm not as hard on them as Lodge is, even though I do agree with a lot of what he's saying. I don't believe Brandon Miller's the number 2 overall prospect. Um,
Mm.
I think Scoot Henderson should have went there, and they should have just made him a LaMelo work it out.
Wait,
And
wait, 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 wait. Could you imagine if they would have drafted a men right there, bro?
that
They don't
still
even
would have
have to
been
draft Scoot.
yeah,
No,
that still would.
they don't even have to draft Scoot,
A man
And
over school? Ah.
and
bro.
honestly, that would have worked out because if Portland still would have Scoot, they could have did a swap right there. Like
That'd have been. Mm. I,
or vice versa.
but
Or
but
if
but
Portland wanted a men, they could have just swapped right there. So like they
Bro,
could have made things work
but you're
and
choosing
got another
fit. So
guard
but
for
you're doing the same
LaMelo.
thing. So but you're doing the same thing. You're kind of choosing fit over because you're doing the same thing when I choose Brandon Miller. So at that point, Scoot is the better player than both those guys.
Yeah, you're
not
right.
So
even,
it's like
not
you're doing the
even, not
same
even.
thing, choosing
But
fit.
you can argue the better fit is a men overall over the three options easily.
So because
You
they're
could
both
argue.
six
You could
Bro,
seven,
argue.
there's
they're
not a
both 6'7",
player
right?
on that,
Mm-hmm.
and he plays elite defense, bro.
Can he
Yep.
shoot?
Elite
He's a
defense.
better
Shoot.
athlete than
He
LaMelo.
doesn't
He's
need to
just
shoot. He doesn't need
very
to
good
shoot.
passer.
Lamelo's there
Being
to shoot.
you
Lamelo's
got
there
it.
to shoot,
Your
bro.
two guard got to be able. You're the three, whatever you want to
No,
play
he
as
But
the
does.
but
two
the
and
thing
No,
is,
he
three.
Scoot's
don't.
not that big
No,
of a
he
shooter
don't.
either.
No, he
Well,
don't.
Scoot's not much of a
Scoot's
shooter either.
but Scoot's definitely a better
He's
shot
better.
creator,
Yeah, he's better than a
a
man.
shot
But
maker. That
that's not going to be something you rely on day one when he
no,
comes to the league.
Bro,
The
I
outside
guarantee you, a man would have walked out his rookie season with 15, 7-7 with like 3 steals,
yeah,
bro.
oh
Easily.
yeah, okay.
Easily. Bro,
All right,
Brandon gonna drop a cool 16, 3-3, bro, and
I
it
think
ain't gonna be
Brandon. I
bad.
think Brandon average between 17 and 18 points, get
Oh
eight
my
boards.
god.
Why
Oh
you
my
I
why you
god.
doing that? Why you doing
I
that?
I'll give him anywhere from 10 to 14.
Really? Why not 17 to 18, 16 to 18? You guys really think that? Really?
I just don't see highly of him.
Really?
I
Okay.
just don't think that highly of him. I
Okay.
really don't.
Okay.
But I want to get on to the other picks because I honestly I kind of like them. The Nick Smith one kind of confused me. I assume they're letting Theo Maledon go as he's a restricted free agent as well, and I think they're going to try to find somewhere for Terry Rozier to go so he can compete. If that's the case, like Laz mentioned, he's still a project, but he's still somebody who can get up and down the floor and play with those guys, and he's got good instincts.
Right.
He was you got to remember he was considered a lottery talent for a very long time too.
Sure
So to
was.
get him at 27, it's not bad. But if he doesn't work out, it doesn't kill you either. James Naji I kind of like because even though he is in the same mold of a lot of the big men that they picked these past couple of years, like Kai Jones, um, blanket on his name, Mark Williams,
Mark Williams.
Nick Richards a few years
Niches.
back.
And Nick
JT,
Richards has developed himself into a solid big man. Definitely earned
but
his
still
contract.
outside of him, those guys are pretty. Outside of Nick Richards, those guys are pretty like thin. So I think James Naji, he's a little different where he's got an NBA built
Mm.
like body from day one. He's a tenacious rebounder. He's solid around. He's very active around the rim, and he's been working this summer with Serge Ibaka over there in Spain. So I kind of like what I've seen in workouts, what he's been added to his game. As far as like touch around the rim and just his awareness overall.
Right.
And then lastly with Amari Bailey, I think this is probably one of their best and one of their most safest picks because I could see him producing from the rip. To be honest with you guys, um,
Really?
he has a steady like mature play style to him where I think he'll earn himself minutes early. I think his that outside jump shot translates. He's gonna have some problems finishing at the rim too. But his playmaking ability, his ability to create out of the pick and roll, I think is going to take him a long way. And I could definitely see him in certain lineups playing with LaMelo Ball. I definitely see that. And yeah, I gotta give them probably give them a C plus just because I think getting Scoot would have made everything so much better for them, and it wouldn't be this question mark as far as Brandon Miller and Miles Bridges goes. And I want to make the case clear. I'm not like predicting Brandon Miller to be like any type of bust or anything like that. I'm not saying he's like guaranteed to underwhelm. I'm saying I personally don't see much in him, but he does have redeemable traits, and he does have things in his games like to be excited about, especially the outside shooting. He's a sneaky good athlete at 6'9", 200 with like a seven, like I think around a 7 foot wingspan. Um, he's got to show that he can do more things in his games or outside the shooting, outside the score, and that he can get to the rim on a consistent basis. Because if he's there and Miles goes, he's not really a go-to type of scorer on the NBA level, in my opinion, that he was in the college level. He doesn't have the ball handle ability to really. So I think they're gonna have to make a lot of things work. Yeah,
Hey,
I
Reed,
gotta
quick
give him.
question.
Was good.
Brandon Miller, a better scoring prospect than Amani?
And
Yes.
Imani,
Yes.
Yeah,
I
you're
Yes.
crazy
mean,
as hell.
Yes.
You
I would.
drunk as hell.
Yes. Yes.
I'm glad that was the last team. You drunk as hell.
Did you
Anyway,
not watch this man in the regular season?
bro,
Nigga,
Like
SEC
we
off.
didn't. I
tournament.
didn't see a.
Oh
I didn't see a damn
man.
video of Brandon Miller a day in my damn life until he got into
Dude.
college. What
Dude.
type, bro? Stop,
Dude.
bro.
We know
No,
what? All
Wait,
no,
right.
no,
are you
Go
talking
ahead,
about a
Kyrie.
prospect entering the NBA or entering college?
bro. Either one,
As a
Like just
prospect right
overall,
now, Brandon Miller, man.
bro.
Come
oh
on.
my god, come
Brandon,
on.
I
see
know
the
it.
thing of, see what, but this is the thing though. We gotta put in his perspective. Brandon Miller, he's a much more efficient shooter than Imani Bates was. But at the same time, Imani Bates didn't have the stack team that could kind of alleviate a lot of pressure off of him like Imani Bates. Imani Bates had a guy like Javon Quinley there. He
Bro,
had
I,
yeah.
I done seen this man drop like 30 straight and win a game for Eastern Michigan. I do not want to hear none of that at
Man,
all. The man
listen.
can't even
All right.
dribble. He cannot even, bro. He can't dribble, bro. He can't dribble. He can't create not a damn thing. What is he creating, bro? What is he
Listen.
creating, Colin? He gonna be sitting in
Raj.
the corner spotting up, waiting for Gordon Hayward, Uncle Gordon, to dime you off or something, bro. Corny,
Listen, I
corny
can't
as
wait.
hell, bro.
I
He
can't
corny,
wait for Summer League, man. I cannot wait
bro.
for
And guess
Summer
what?
League.
Brandon probably won't even play, and he gonna get
I
baked
think he
too.
will. Because I
He
think,
gonna
because
get
listen,
I'll
baked.
be
if
glad he
Victor,
gonna play.
some reports that
Him and Vic
Victor,
supposed to play like the first game against
exactly,
each other.
right. And I
Yeah,
heard
and he gonna
Victor
get baked.
Wembanyama, he's not playing for France this summer. He's not even playing any type of summer league, any type of game. He's gonna, I
No,
mean, not
Yeah,
summer league.
he gonna get baked.
Other
FIBA,
games, but
yeah.
he will
He's
play.
not going. He's not going to play the first. He's not going to play the first summer league session, but he's going to play after that.
Right. So listen to me.
Yeah.
Listen, I can't wait. If the Hornets ever play the Cavaliers, best believe I'm calling you. We're gonna watch that game. I can't wait. I can't
Sure,
wait. If they match up
sure.
against each other too, oh my god. That's it. I'm gonna leave it
Bro,
at
that
that.
man
You know what I
can't
mean?
dribble to save his
Jeremy
life.
Sohan playing, he locking all that down. That's all I'm gonna say. If
I'm gonna
Sohan
listen.
plays summer league this year, he locking all that down. And that's all I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
say.
lie. You gonna be? Hey, you know what? We're gonna edit off on that though. Listen, we're gonna edit off on that one. That concludes episode 117 of the Restricted Zone podcast.
Great
I love
episode, fellas.
great episode. I enjoyed this episode as much as hopefully you guys enjoyed listening to us record this episode. Definitely leave a like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can follow us on all streaming platforms. I'm talking about Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, you name it, Amazon Music. We're on there. Just stream, share it out with your friends. We definitely appreciate it. We'll be back with more episodes, WWE, NBA, NFL, baseball. So just be on the lookout for that. Like I said, turn on post notifications, subscribe and like, and we will be back. RZP. Thanks, everybody.